Hello, dear friends, and thank you for joining me as I attempt to paint for the very first time. Now, of course, I've painted in school many, many years ago, and I don't think you could even call that painting, but I've been sufficiently inspired by wonderful YouTubers and other ASMR artists to pick up a paintbrush. ASMR Galaxy, for example, is somebody I've watched a lot of recently, and I know that she uses digital painting. She uses an iPad to paint, but I think I've learned a number of techniques simply from watching those videos. I say I've learned those techniques, I've simply watched them, and I haven't made a mental note or anything. I'm just hoping that I'll be able to bring some of that to the table now. So I'm hoping by the end of this video we will be looking back on the next John Constable or Vincent van Gogh or the next masterpiece. But really what I'm hoping for is this is the very first painting I've ever attempted. I am really not going to know what I'm doing, so I would very much value any comments from anybody with experience of painting to give me any insider information or tips, or simply, if anybody, I suppose you don't even have to be a painter, any observations you may make and think, oh, maybe try this, maybe try that. You can work with it on camera as well, which of course could be a very different experience as if I were just at home and just deciding to paint in private. But let's go on this journey together. I've got the kit. Some family members very kindly gifted it to me for my birthday. So what are we going to do? Let's do a landscape. I think I'm going to cheat at this early stage. I think I'm going to choose a nighttime scene, because if things are in the dark, then you don't have to do as much detail. That's what I'm bargaining on anyway. Let's do some planning. I'm going to do I quite like religious buildings, quite like let's do at the edge of a chapel or a church over here or something. Let's and then give it a nice big window. Let's say we go for like that, maybe. Does that work? Yes, okay. And then that will have oh dear, you can tell how this is going to go already. I'll smarten that up. And then maybe something ornate on the top here. I suppose you could go for a cross, couldn't you, if it were a... that's not quite what I want. Or maybe something... It's a chunky cross. I just realised as well, using an eraser, there's probably, I don't have to erase anything, I'm going to paint over it anyway, but using an eraser is probably going to put eraser bits all over the paint. But hey, at least you're getting absolute proof that I have no idea what I am doing here. Here we go. So let's pop across there. I want to get a bit of perspective, I guess. So let's imagine the building goes. Would it go this way? Yeah. Okay. It's going to go that way. Slightly odd dimensions, but hey, it's what I'm working with. Let's say the ground is about here, and then we'll have like a bit of reflection. I think if you want a bit of reflection of the light from the window, we're going to pretend that there's a service going on in there or something. To put a bit of reflection there. Let's put the moon up here. We'll put a tree here. Okay, I'll do a bit of a tree there. And this is where I learned that I don't know what a tree looks like. That'll be where the tree goes, and then that'll be quite flat, and then maybe we just get a little bit of extra life to the background here, because there'll be a few inspiration for religious iconography and churchyards and churches. I've never been religious myself, but yes, there's just something about it that I just love the design of the buildings, the architecture, like I say, the iconography, etc. Now, do we have something curling off the lip, or is that a bit? Okay, let's just say that's a bit optimistic at this stage. Okay, so we're going to have, I think the technique I need to employ here is to go for the lighter shade of the sky first, and then we do the darker shade at the top, over the top of it. I think that's what I've seen in action. So let me get the paints. So working with acrylic here, and again, I've never worked with acrylic. I think the only paints that I've worked with in the past are watercolour or finger paints with children. So we've got here ultramarine. What do you think? Ultramarine. We've got a cerulean blue. That looks a bit too light to me. I think it'll have to be the because then we can go into what's that? Raw lumber. That looks quite dark, but I'm guessing that's a very deep shade of brown. Of course, we've got a black here as well, so we can work our way up to the black. And then we have a white that I guess I'll just paint the moon over. So let's go with the ultramarine acrylic. So again, there might be people in the comments thinking, what is he doing? He's acrylic painting and he hasn't treated the canvas in a particular way, or he hasn't got the right kind of kit to mix it up or anything like that. I've no idea. So I really value your input. If there's anything that you've noticed already. So I'm going to pop the acrylic in there. Oh, that's it's nice and thick. Let me just pop that into the mixing palette. Okay, so let's get a paintbrush. Now the two paintbrushes that I've got as part of this kit are very fine, so this could take a while, but let's go. This is me committing my first stroke of the brush to the canvas, and that's quite a nice shade of blue. That's quite nice, isn't it? Now, I'm going to guess there's also something about paint strokes as well. I've got to be careful with the paint strokes because I'm thinking already that I should have maybe made this an ocean scene, because look at the way it's appearing on the paper, on the canvas, on the easel is very watery, very water-like. Am I supposed to have mixed this, if anything? I'm guessing it's a sin if I were to paint upwards as well, is it? Maybe I'll just say this is my choice. This is my choice as an artist, you know. The English Gentleman ASMR is, you can tell it's a work of his because he makes everything look like the sea. No matter if it's the sky, a dog, a car, everything looks like the ocean. It's my trademark. So I'm going to I'm hoping that the technique I'm employing here is that it doesn't matter about being too neat with your background, because you're going to overlay it anyway. I don't want to go underneath the church because I want that to be pure black and the light, but I mean I can go over it a little bit, I guess. But we're going to go up to about, I think, the halfway point, and I'm going to do black at the top, and then figure out some way of blending the two. Oh boy, I wonder how this dries, because I'm trying to make it so I have to question my life choices. Why have I decided to do something like this in a very public forum? Warts and all. I must admit, though, I am finding this quite therapeutic already. I think there is something to be said for the mindfulness of this is one of the reasons why I've always wanted to paint. It just seems like a very lovely mindful activity. Just committing Right, so there were some palette knives that came with this kit, and I'm not too sure what you'd use them for. I'm guessing if you were like to, because I can't see why you'd use them for this. Maybe you'd be doing it to do what I'm doing now, smooth out the paint. It would make more sense to me if it were like oil paints, if that's, the ones that get all chunky, don't they? They like create a lot of residue on your painting sometimes, so it's worth it to so I just realised as well I only have 2 paintbrushes, and of course if I'm wanting to do lots of different, if I'm going to do like a bright, like a warm orange amber light coming from the church, I'm going to have to either wash my brushes or somehow find a brush hiding within the depths of my home somewhere. So we've done that there. Okay, it's not looking too bad now. I mean, look at this. There's obviously some brush strokes here, but I'm going to assume that the paint is going to dry. I've greatly overcommitted with the paint in my palette. There's loads of it in there still, so I don't need as much as I think I do. That's good, because I was worried I'd run out of paint in the run through of this. So let's just do some more anyway, because I've got it. Take it up to the top, and then overlay it from there. I mean, how long does this paint take to dry? Am I being optimistic that I can do all of this in one sitting as well? It's fraught with peril, this process. Okay, because my intent would be to do a moon at the top. Got a moon at the top, and then the moon is going to shine down and cast either shadows or kind of moonlight or glow of some of the silhouettes of, say, the tree or of the church or something like that. Okay, nearly done our first part of sky. Yes, I'm very jealous of when if you ever go out walking and I just see somebody who's on their own, they've got an easel set up, they're looking out over the countryside, and they're just painting a beautiful image of a painting of the countryside. Okay, looks like a very therapeutic, lovely activity. So that is our blue, backing of our blue sky. Now I don't think there's much of a problem actually of having a bit of blue mixed in with the black with my paintbrush, because that's, the blend anyway, but I'm going to make sure I don't put too much paint in the palette this time. You don't need that much, just start with a little bit and then go from there. So, let's just go for it. So, obviously, there would be the actual landscape would appear black for now as a silhouette, and then we'll add some detail to the surroundings as we go. So, yes, I used to grow up in a village. A long part of my childhood was spent in a village in the county of Bedfordshire that was called Clophill. And in Clophill, I always used to refer to it as the England's version of Sunnydale from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because there was quite a lot of strangeness attributed to the village. So it was the place where Dick Turpin, the famous highway robber, would stop off at on the way to York at the Flying Horse Inn, and it was also the place where the last hanging, execution by hanging, took place in England. There's a small village called Dead Man's Cross, not too far from Clophill, which is the actual site where it took place, which is a bit grim, isn't it? A bit macabre. But the murders that took place, that led to that execution, took place on the lay-by by the village. Lovely, huh? But there's also a church called St. Mary's, that sits atop a hill at the very far end of the village. And the church is a ruin. It sits on its own at the top of a village. And it's on its own. It's a beautiful, serene location. I absolutely used to love walking my dog up to the old church and letting the dog run around whilst I just sat on the windowsill of the old church, looking out onto the sweeping countryside, the landscape in front of me. But it gained a lot of infamy when I think it was in the 70s, it was on local and national news actually. Somebody had broken into a crypt that was the crypt underneath the church, and there was the crypt of an apothecary's wife, apparently, and they'd spread the skeletal remains, the bones of this apothecary's wife, all over the graveyard in a seemingly ritualistic manner. So it kind of really fed into that satanic panic of the time, and how a lot of people were a bit terrified of this kind of sweeping wave of Satanism across the country. But off the back of that, it's gained a lot of infamy, a lot of notoriety. At Halloween, you'll often have the police station there just to deter the sheer amount of people who come by and they want to check it out, or they want to be spooked, or they want to whatever. But because of its infamy, right, I've got to be careful here because I want to do the actual building, so I need to do. Okay, that's quite good. There we are. Just use the brush. Okay, cool. That's nice. Because of its infamy, a lot of people. Okay, that's quite good. Happy with that. A lot of people have made up a lot of things about the church, and its history, and like, why is it like it is. So, for example, like the fact that it's built facing the wrong way apparently is a reason why it was targeted as a Satanistic ritual site, but that isn't actually true. It faces the same way as all other churches. But what is another cause for theory is, why is it abandoned? Why isn't it the church still at the village? So people are like, oh, it used to be like like the village was hit by leprosy, and it all moved down further into the valley and left the church behind, and nobody wanted to go there anymore, and all of these kind of things. But actually, I think the truth is that they just simply built. The village got bigger. Its centre had shifted because of the size of it. They built a new church in the centre of the village, and simply put, people didn't need to go to that one anymore because it's up a hill, and it was now more on the outskirts of the village, up a valley. So it just meant people naturally, convenience and all that, weren't going to walk miles up a hill to attend their church service. But it won't stop people from speculating. I remember being amazed once that I saw a haunted house book, Haunted Houses of the World, in a bookshop in Canada, and lo and behold, St. Mary's Church was in there. So it had a little bit of home pride that the folk tales and the stories of my youth had made it global. it's things like that that just make me endlessly fascinated about, our connection with the afterlife and what comes next, etc. And all the things that we've done to establish our relationship with death over the years. Okay. I'm never that confident with my. No, never confident with my hands. I think I've got quite shaky hands, but there you go. That'll do. That's okay. It's one of those things, isn't it, where you have an image in your head of what you think a painting's going to look like, and in your head you make it look like some sort of photorealistic image. And now I'm looking back on this and I'm thinking, oh wow, it looks quite naive, quite like a child's painting. But hey, we're only just starting out, right? It could look very different. Now, my plan was to do black up here to denote the night, but you'll lose this detail up here. And I think, to be honest, this blue looks nightly enough anyway. It's a nice dark shade of blue, so I'm okay with that. So let's imagine our tree is here. We'll go up like this. Right, okay, so I'm not even using an image for reference. I am absolutely freestyling a tree here. So let's just go branch here. Let's go for a branch here. Actually, I've just noticed that the pencil marks are coming through, so let's try and cover those up a bit. Let's go here, let's go here, got a tree mark here, tree mark here. Oh dear, I'm going to have to use my original hideous pencil line drawings of a tree, so let's give the tree some life up here, I guess. It's looking like it has swords for branches. Let's go here, let's wisen it out a little bit. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, does it? It doesn't look that bad at this stage. See, again, of course, I've just realised at the beginning of this, I said that one of the ASMR artists who I particularly enjoy watching is ASMR Galaxy. She's lovely. And shout out to ASMR Galaxy. You're great. And of course, watching all of this done on an iPad, the difference being that you make an error, you make a mistake or something, you just undo. Whereas I kind of have to live with what I do here. Okay, actually that's not that bad. I'm quite happy with that as a tree. Let's go up here. So I just realised I've taken off some of the paint, the underlay at the bottom, because I don't know why that happened. But let's go here. Let's give it some more. Okay, that's quite good. I like it a lot. Okay, guys, I found my specialism, my calling in life. I'm going to paint trees from memory. There we go, that looks like quite a good spooky old tree, doesn't it? It's like got a really thick trunk for some reason, but it's a lovely spooky old tree. Wonderful. Okay, let's do my gravestones, my tombstones. That's one there, put that one there, that's there. There's another one over here. Okay. And I think I had one in the back one over there, but I could do like a smaller one back here. So there's like a small gravestone back here. Okay. It's a broken one. Somebody's vandalised the tombstone. Be on national news again. reflection down here. Now, this is where I think I am about to start getting a tad advanced, because yeah, I'm not too sure what to do in terms of mixing the paints, mixing the colours to be able to do that well. But we will give it a go. So let's move on to the window. I think it does look like this paint dries quite quickly, which is nice. So I'm obviously going to use the black to do the bits over the top, but what we're going to go for, so let's have a look at the colours that we've got here. We've got a very bright yellow, a lemon yellow. We have a yellow ochre, almost like a kind of goldy brown colour. We then have a Indian yellow. We also have some reds here as well. We've got things like a chromium red, but I think my eye would be drawn to the Indian orange, or the Indian yellow, sorry, because of course if there's a service going on in there or something like that, it would be warm candlelight by the altar or something like that. So let's go with a bit of that. So I think as well, one of the things that I like about painting with an iPad and the digital painting is that, particularly if you want to do buildings and things like that, then you're able to do it with such scientific accuracy and get all the angles right and things like that, because actually I'm really happy with that tree, and I'm really happy with to a degree the outline of the building, but the actual window doesn't look fantastic to me. And of course it's because of I think it's because this bit's okay, but then it gets a bit janky down here, like it gets a bit wobbly. And if it isn't, well, I suppose we can rectify that right now, can't we? So let's try that then. Let's try and so we've got it has to be this way, doesn't it? Because the angle is, so let's go with that. Okay, that's a bit better. And then we need to make this angle straight. So let's go with oh no, there's a piece of brush. That's a bit better. I think it's, yeah, the lines aren't, I didn't help myself with these pencil lines because the that's not at the centre, so that's why it looks quite childlike and naive to me. I'm gonna have to make this window smaller, I think. Let's go with there. It'll be a small window. There we go, we're gonna go along here. Okay. Then to put this more in the centre, I'm gonna go up like that. Okay. So the problem is now, of course, is I've made the window look weird because the window is offset greatly from the side of the building. So I'm going to have to shift the perspective of wherever the moonlight is coming from over here to make it more as though that, oh great, there you go, I just added something to the ceiling wall there. I'm going to have to make the moonlight act as though this is where the roof starts and it's coming down from here. Oh well, it's all a learning process, isn't it? You've got to learn these things to take them with you for the next time. There's no point putting pressure on yourself on needing to deliver a completely finished article first time. And of course, one of the reasons why I'm doing this like this is that I can get help as well. I'd be very interested if you are able to give me advice and feedback on painting technique and what's going on, like why is that happening if I do that, and why am I not able to do this, and what do I need to do to prepare more accurately or anything like that. I think the pressure to create, there is a pressure to create in our day and age, because of course the public forum, the ability to display one's work in public is ever more pronounced, it's ever more immediate. And of course it puts a pressure, I think, on being able to produce quickly and effectively and efficiently and expertly right from the beginning. And I think that puts people under so much pressure that they end up giving up on their creativity because they just simply can't feed the machine, so to speak. It's just figuring out what way you are creative and how to use your voice effectively. So don't give up if you're thinking of doing something like this. Just do what I did, like gets to a birthday or something, or got an opportunity to treat yourself to some things that will help you do what you want to do. Just give it a go and have fun with it. Laugh, laugh at yourself. Don't put yourself under any pressure to create something amazing from the get-go. You learn for the next time, and then you can carry on getting better and better and better. I quite liked a quote of asking for help is a refusal to give up. I quite liked that quote when I heard it. I think a lot of people have complex relationships with asking for help because, quite an old patriarchal concept that somehow that is weakness. You can't do it on your own. You shouldn't be leading the pack. You shouldn't be out there being the alpha and all of this kind of outdated, slightly cringe concept of living one's life. Here we go. Okay, let's give the window a go. I'm not that convinced that the edge of it is fully dry yet, so I'll work from the inside out. But let's have a look at what this looks like. As I'm not, okay, oh wow, okay, that's a very that's a very orangey orange, but yes, I've also approached this. I used to be the kind of person who I wouldn't have even bothered of doing those lines, the lines of the to tell me where to go and what to do, because I just want to go for it. It's all in my head and I'll just do it. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to follow the things I've learned to have a plan and be able to commit to it well, but kind of regretting that now because I don't think I've either used the right pencil or done the right kind of thing with a pencil, because the marks aren't going away when I paint on them. And I don't like the marks I've done for this window. They're only a rough guide. I was going to paint over them, but they're going to create dark lines now, like echoes. Maybe when the paint fully dries I'll be okay, but not ideal, not what I wanted. Now what happens if I go here? Is it going to mix the paint? Oh no, okay, so it's mixing a little bit. It's just tentatively moved to the edges. Maybe we'll revisit this scene in a year's time or something, and I'll by then be rocking, full detailed stained glass windows, and the reflection therein. I always love that, like when you're on Reddit or other social media, and you're just looking at like people's progress from when they started a hobby, they started doing something to where they are today. It's I'll admit I'm not the best in the world for keeping at something, and as a result I quite enjoy experiencing stuff for the first time, and as a result, well, oh dear, that is mixed. Okay, I should probably stop, but I'm impatient. You see, if I had an iPad, I'd just click fill here. No waiting for paint to dry. Here we go. Let's see if I can just get it closely to the edge. But yeah, I find that I'm often a jack of all trades, master of none in life, which is okay, because I value experiencing things and trying things out and seeing what things are like. But to actually be truly masterful in an area is something that I'd really enjoy. So I think what I want is this will be okay to mix now, but I think if I've got like this here, the reflection of the window would be probably roughly about here. And it would be quite vague, right? I think a sponge or something, I'd use a sponge just to kind of like brush it out. So there you go, the reflection of the light there. That's quite good actually, that's what I want. There we are, yeah, just like a loose. That's quite good. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it's subtle. I'm going for subtlety as an artist. Now let's try these lines on the front of the window. Okay. Right. Okay, I'm trying to think, because of course if this were truly a proper church window, it would be quite ornate. It would have like different things up the top here, and it would. But I'm going to go for relatively simple. So I'm thinking maybe I'll go for a line just straight down the middle, and then the lines roughly where I've put them here, perhaps. I mean, it will again look quite naive and childlike, but I'm just going to go over these bits, because I can overlay, but I didn't want to get the of course by doing this I'm changing the shape of the window again. Okay, so I'm very happy with that. I think that is what I wanted it to look like, so I'm very happy with that. That looks great. The reflection. So the eye might be drawn to what the church cross is doing. Let's just go over it like this. Oh dear, oh dear, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh dear. Of course, this is now when you do this, you realise that you can't get away with it being off centre. It doesn't look good. That looks okay. That looks a bit better. Just have to thicken it out a bit. That looks a bit better. Okay, so let's just do that. This church has a very sparing budget for stained glass windows, so they're just being very tight on. Oh, there you go. They've got some iconography there. They've got a big cross, and we'll put another one across over here as well. They don't have a lot of money for a window budget, so they've just got huge frames. Okay. I mean, it unfortunately makes the church look like a prison, but hey, who says that this needs to be real? Hey, maybe I can do a Guillermo del Toro and just say, hey, this is from the inspired mind of the English gentleman. Here we go. Okay. I think I might have saved that window, I mean, I've not made it look like any window you'd ever see in real life, but at least by its construct it kind of makes sense now in terms of what it looks like. Also got to be careful with my brush strokes here, because I realise, every time I go over it, I'm not actually helping, I'm kind of rubbing it away more. Oh great, and now I made those really small by doing that, so let's just do it over here as well. This poor window is going to be my centrepiece, but the poor window has been it's kind of gone off kilter a bit as well. It's gone a funny curve, but I'm going to pretend that's how it was designed. It was this is a very old church, ladies and gentlemen, that was designed around 905 AD, and they had little glass panes. They couldn't afford proper stained glass, so they just you know how it goes, guys. Let's make this window even smaller then. With that, I bet there might be people at home who are like professionals at painting windows of buildings and like, what on earth is this guy doing? Okay. I mean, I've somehow made it make a little bit more sense in the context of the building by making it very small. It doesn't look too rough, which is good. Okay, so I realise is I've made a bit of a tactical error in my placement of the tree. I should have waited until I could put the moon up here behind. I wanted to have like quite a good moon shining through, but instead let's put the moon up here, and then the moonlight can be coming down from this angle, so I suppose in a way as well it gives us less pressure to create a larger, and it means I suppose everything's facing this way in terms of light with the window as well, so there's some uniformity there. So it's relatively straightforward, I guess, when you've got the moon that we're going to paint with a bit of white, titanium white no less. And let's pop some of that in the palette. We won't need too much this time, and I'll mix some of it as well, because I'm also conscious if I want to do the moonlight on the tops of buildings or the edge of buildings, just to give them a little bit of glow, the edge of the tombstones and the tree branches. Don't really want that to be bright white, because of course that would be that would look like snow. It has to be more of a subtle white. So where are we going to put the moon? Let's put the moon up here. Okay, here we go, moon. Moony, moony, moony. Okay, that white is not very strong. Well, at least the paint isn't very thick, but okay, that's a good outline for my moon though. It actually, it doesn't need to be bright white, does it? But mixing it with the blue like that does give it a kind of bit of a moon-like tone. Almost see the man on the moon and the craters on it, which is nice. That's what I wanted. Okay. What do we think? I think that was okay. So I'm going to, what do I do? Do I mix it with the black, or do I mix it with the blue? My idea is that I want speckles of moonlight and kind of creating shadows, streaks of moonlight that go like that way in relation to the moon, I suppose. I mean, what happens if I just do a bit of white? If I daub it on? Because I don't know if I can retrieve it if I do that, but let's just see what happens if I do it up here. Okay, that's not too bad, you know. That's okay. Subtle, but does it look like snow? Gotta have a bit of moonlight there. Does it look like just like? Can you tell? Basically, can you tell that this is moonlight on the tree? Is it adding a nice little bit of extra dimension to it, or does this look like I am painting on snow? You know what? I'm going to say that this is okay. I'm learning, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I need to figure out better skills of how to mix colour and paint. It's adding a nice little bit of extra dimension there to the tree. I think this is the right kind of technique that I'm looking for. Let's put a bit of light up there. There we go, lovely. I must say, guys, I am actually really enjoying this. I'm feeling very, I wonder what the word is that I'd use. In fact, I'm feeling quite nourished. I feel like I'm feeding my soul a little bit here, giving it some creativity to chew on. It's enjoying it very much, my soul. I mean, if you're not into painting, I would definitely recommend giving it a go. Just paint anything. Just doesn't have to be a landscape, or doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Here we go. Look, now we can give a little bit of definition to our tree, because the tree comes down here, and there are like know when to stop. I would just if something looked good, I'd just keep adding and adding and adding to it until it basically looked not good. Not done the best job on that tombstone there. I made it look a bit sketchy, but hey. And then here the moonlight would be kind of cascading down on that bit there, right? So okay, and then the moonlight would also be here on the side of this church. And it would be along the top of the church up here. Now I'm playing with perspective because does that look right? Am I doing a wrong thing here? Is the perspective looking strange if I'm doing this? Because okay, let's see if I can now do a little bit of light coming off the tree. Okay, that's good. That's the right kind of white I was looking for. Look at that. That's great. That's what I was looking for. Now I need to get that going on these tombstones, but there's light shining. Let's make it, yeah, it's like foggy, like kind of foggy moonlight coming through the tombstones. That might be a bit too wide, but hey, whatever. Then there's like more of it around here because the tree's in the way there, and that gives it a little bit of. Still, there's a little bit of moonlight streaking through the trees here as well. Give it a little bit of oh no! Oh no! Let's ease that in a little bit. That's a bit too intense, but maybe it makes sense through there. Okay. Would there be any kind of whiteness or reflection here, do you think? What do you reckon? I'm not sure there would be. Do we just leave it at that? Do I create some moonlight definition down here, or is it all just black? I'm not sure. But you know what? I'm going to know when to finish, and I'm going to say that is a wrap. So, here we go, my very, very first painting. Alright, in a minute. I do want to do it big because for some reason that's a bit. I don't know what's happened there. It's like got a black bit going to the. There we go. Not as defined as it could be. I suppose that would also be a bit. Have a little bit of Here we go. There we are, my very, very first painting as an adult. I'm quite proud of that. It's some of it actually looks better than I thought I would make it look. So just like doing the kind of cascading of the moonlight there looks really nice. I'm really happy. So thank you for joining me for this potentially very exposing initial experience of my first ever painting attempt. Please do let me know in the comments down below what I can do to improve my painting skills. I'm very conscious of brush strokes, for example. That sky looks a bit ropey, so does the ground. I think I need to work on the finesse of my brush strokes. Not my brush strokes, that's swimming. But thank you for joining me. videos, but until then,